Hi, my name is Tamara, and you are watching Things Even a Monkey Should Know. Thanks so much for watching again today. As you know, if you've watched some of my other videos, I'm not a professional at this do-it-yourself stuff. I'm just a girl who's figured out that there are a lot of things around the house and out in the yard and on the cars that I can do myself and save myself a whole lot of money, and hopefully now you too. So today I get to save a friend of mine some money. Her garbage disposal went out recently, and today we are going to replace it. It'll be fun. Let's get started. So as always, we're going to go over what we need today. First and foremost, most importantly above anything else, is you're going to need your new garbage disposal. And in our case, we're replacing the old disposal. Of course, you'll need the old broken one too, but we're replacing it with the same kind. So this is what a naked, uninstalled garbage disposal looks like. Garbage disposals are really pretty easy to install. You will need a flashlight. You'll need to have a pipe wrench on hand, just in case. You may not have to use it, but it's a good thing to have. You'll need a set of channel locks. These are the things that look like pliers, but they can move to accommodate different sizes of pipes or bolts. You'll need to have both a Phillips and flat screwdriver, Phillips and a regular screwdriver. You'll want to have a hammer on hand. You will need to have, potentially you'll need to have a putty knife of some sort, or something that's thin that can scrape. You may also need to have a little box cutter or some kind of a cutting tool on hand. You'll need to have some wire connectors, which these are just to hook up your wires. Well, we'll see later, but anyway, you need to have a couple of those. They don't come with the garbage disposal. You'll need to have some rags, and since I am not at my own home, and while I'm pretty sure all these tools are going to cover it, I also just brought an array of various and sundry small hand tools that I have laying around the house just in case. And while I think everybody has these tools, it's nice to know that I have them with me. And whenever I say various and sundry tools, I mean things like extra wrenches, some screwdrivers of different sizes, another wrench of another size, monkey wrench that is. I also brought some pliers with me, needle-nosed and regular, just in case. And in addition to my socket wrench set, which is in here, because again, even though this should be a pretty straightforward install, you never quite know what you're going to run into. Okay, so this is going to be a really quick segment, but as we know, we always need to turn off the breaker, especially with the garbage disposal, because it does have hot, and the breaker box in this house happens to be up in the attic and is a really pretty warm summer day, and so I'm dying up here. So hopefully I don't die before I get this segment done. But anyway, so we want to know which breaker goes to that. And thankfully, we already know that this one, they have everything labeled really nicely here, so we know exactly which one it is. And of course, so I'm going to switch it. You heard the click. It's off. Of course, I'll turn on the disposal to make sure it doesn't work, but as I said, everything's marked, so that's really helpful. So just make sure that you get your breaker flipped off so that there's no power going to your disposal, because otherwise it's going to shock you, and we do not want you to be a fried chicken on a day like today. Whew. So after our brief jaunt in hell in the attic, we did get the correct switch flipped to turn the power off to the disposer. So again, just make sure that you have that turned off. So now we want to actually get the disposer disconnected. You want to probably make sure, let's see if you can see down here, make sure that you have a rag towel laid down below it, just in case anything drips. And as you can see, I've got my flashlight down here helping me out quite a bit. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, first of all, is I'm going to disconnect it from the drain pipe here, hopefully. There we go. And the hope would be that would just come off, but this one is put in a little bit differently than some. They all are a tad different, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this faceplate right here. Okay, so actually this was the part that we wanted to remove. Normally, I'm going to go ahead and tighten this back up. Normally, these have a drain line that you would want to disconnect and replace, but as you can see, this one is put in a little bit differently. So this is where, there's some nasty stuff in there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove the line to the dishwasher. That's what this is up here. I'm just going to loosen that cable thingy here. And it should just pop right off. Okay. So far, so good. Now, the hope is that this thing should be able to swing free. Okay, so this next part is kind of tricky, and it's actually getting the disposer down. And so these are the mounting rings, what they call them, and they're supposed to send you a little wrench that's supposed to be big enough to shove in here and make the disposer come off of the mounting ring under the sink. But they didn't, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a screwdriver, shove in here, and then as you have that loosened, then you turn the disposer and it comes off. Be careful because it's heavy, but otherwise it's real awkward trying to get that thing off. It doesn't want to come, and so just know that whenever you're looking for the mounting ring, this is the mounting ring, and this here, and then this is what you want to loosen using either this, which was too small, the wrench they sent, or as I said, I just shoved the end of my screwdriver in there and got it off that way. So now, as you can see, we have our our garbage disposal loose from the sink. It's still attached, however, on the electrical part, so I'm going to go ahead and being careful to try not to get old food particles everywhere. Being careful with this. I'm turning it upside down, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove these two screws, or loosen them. This is the cable clamp, and you can do this in whatever order you want. I just want that loosened, but I also need to take off this bottom plate. This is the electrical plate on this thing, and this is how we're going to disconnect it from the power supply. And again, since we have the power supply turned off, then we know we're free to touch things in here. So you get that open, and let me move this big old cord out of the way. And so we just see our little mass of wires in here. So first of all, there is the grounding wire, which helps your disposer not cause fires. So we're going to take that off first. Or loosen it. And let's see, this is why I bring things like my needle nose pliers with me, because I'm probably going to find a good use for those in getting these wires loose. Well, since we're throwing this out anyways, I can just go ahead and take it all the way out to get that wire loose. Okay, and we're going to go ahead, we're going to take off these wire nuts. So that is the hot wire. Don't need that anymore. And somewhere back in here is going to be the neutral wire, which is the white wire. And of course, whenever we reconnect these, you're going to always reconnect them the same way you took them out. Neutral white wires always connect to neutral, and black hot wires always connect to black. You never want to cross wire because you'll burn up your motor immediately and maybe start a fire, so don't do that. So this is why I just, oh, this is going to be fun. This is why I just loosened up this clamp, but I think we'll just go ahead and take it all the way off, because this is a pretty big cable, and these wires belong to this cable, and they have to come out of this hole. And voila! Our old disposer is now free. So this would be the point at which, if you needed to replace this ring, which holds your garbage disposal under the sink. This it's the mounting ring is what it's called. This would be the point at which you would do that. Now we are putting the same kind of garbage disposal back in because they've been very happy with this one. It's InSinkErator or Badger 5. No, I'm not doing advertising for them. This just happens to be what my friend had and what she likes. So we are actually not going to replace this because since it's the same kind of garbage disposal, and also this is still in really good shape. There's no rust, there's no nothing wrong with it. So there's not a good reason to replace it. But if you did have to replace it, it's simple. It just unscrews from the bottom, which I'll show you in a second, and you would pop it out, unscrew it, pop it out, put a line of plumber's putty around here, and pop the new one in. And that's pretty much all there is to it. And so this is the underside of that mounting ring that if you were to have to replace it, you simply remove these 3 screws and you twist the ring out and it pops right out. You put a line of plumber's putty, like I said, about a 1/2 inch worm of it all around the top side of this so that it seals the new one into the sink, and then you pop your new one right in the same way this one came out. So some of you guys are not going to be hooking your garbage disposal up to a dishwasher, but if you are, your garbage disposal comes with, this is where you hook it into your dishwasher, and it actually it has a little plug in here, and that's in case you're not hooking it up so that it doesn't leak all over the underside of your cabinets. But if you are, then you just stick a little screwdriver in here and knock that loose carefully, and it should hopefully, well, of course, these things never go quite like you want them to, but it should hopefully fall free, there we go, into the inside of the disposer. And then you can either dump it out, which I'd hope to do, or you can reach in there and get it out, which always kind of creeps me out whenever these things are connected because of all the teeth in there, but it was fine because it's not connected. So anyway, that's just the little drain plug for the dishwasher that we just knocked out. So we're to the point that we're putting our new disposal back on. So first we want to hook up the electrical. So we're going to go ahead and remove the little plate down here on the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and install this little cable connector down here on the bottom of this, if I can, hopefully. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to shove that cable back through there. That's our electrical line there. Okay, and then I need to dig out the wires inside of this. They're in here somewhere. There they are. So the first thing I'm going to do, because it's the shortest and the hardest to get on here, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to install the grounding wire first. So again, naked copper wire. Basically just remember how you took out the other pieces, or the other wires. I'm going to go ahead and curl that back around there. Since I left the hook in there, it makes it a lot easier to reconnect here. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to twist these wires together a bit. The two neutral wires, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this little wire nut back onto them and just twist it until it's tight. You don't need to twist it over tight. There we go, because you don't want to split the wire nut. And I'm going to do the same with the hot wires. I'm just going to twist them together. And then I'm going to twist the wire nut on here. Okay, and then I'm going to just go ahead and shove everything back up in here. And I'm going to put the little cover plate on. Oops, don't even need that screw. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tighten the little cable clamp on. Okay, And we're done. And this is also a good time to note while we're looking at the bottom of this, that if ever you flip the switch on your disposal and you know that there's power going to it and it doesn't come on, first shine a flashlight down inside of it to see if there's anything metal that got in there, because if there was, it can basically flip the breaker switch inside the disposal so that it doesn't short out the disposal. And what it'll do is it'll push this red button at the bottom out, and all you need to do is, of course, remove the offending metal on the inside and then push this back in, and it'll reset your disposal. It's just a handy little tip. A lot of people don't know, and it might help you out someday. Now this next part is super fun because it involves holding this super heavy thing while you're trying to get these little tabs. There's a little opening here, and this is a ledge that these tabs slide up onto. And so you want to get, and there's 3 of them. So you want to get them all aligned and then turn them. You want to turn this ring so that those little tabs start to slide. Oh, there we go. Up over those ridges. And you turn them until they're all the way on. And they're going to stop at a point. Wow, that is the least fun thing I've done next to going into the attic. So now, thank goodness, we've got this monster hanging on its own. It's quite heavy. I'm very happy not to be dealing with it. This would be the point at which, if you are hooking it up to the drain with the pipe that they sent, this would be the point that you would put that on. But as you can see, we have a slightly different setup here. However, so whatever your setup, this is when you want to reattach it. You want to make sure that you do get this little rubber washer or gasket, that they sent with it, because if you don't, you're going to have water spray all over the place, and that would not be fun. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reattach this pipe here. Okay, and now last but not least, we're going to go ahead and reattach the dishwasher pipe. So I'm just going to shove this on as far as I can. And then I'm going to go ahead and I am going to tighten this little thing back up. There we go. You don't want to over tighten that. In fact, I might have over tightened just a hair, but you also don't want it to blow off when the dishwasher is running either. So reasonably tight, see if you can pull it off. If you can't move it, then you've got it. So we're getting close to being finished. The last thing I'm going to do, well, next to the last thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a stopper in this, and I'm going to run some water into the sink, and I'm going to check down below and make sure there's not any leaks. So that's probably enough to check. Okay, so obviously it holds up here, which it should have, but let's see if everything looks good down below. And I don't see anything leaking, so that is fantastic. 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a hot summer day. This is not where I want to be, up here in the attic. So we're going to make this real fast. Make sure that you don't have the switch on for the garbage disposal, because obviously you don't ever want to run the disposer when there's not water running in it. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this on. My switch was off downstairs. Now let's go back downstairs and watch that beautiful thing run. How exciting is this? We're going to turn it on. Remember to always have your water running, because you don't want to burn up the motor. Water running over it keeps the machine cool. And it sounds beautiful and healthy. So that wasn't so bad, right? Can you believe we just replaced a garbage disposal? That sounds like something that should be way hard to do, but it was really way easy. So yes, I got my hair messed up a little bit and I sweated, but that was mostly because I had to go in the attic. But that really didn't take very long, and it just saved us a huge bundle of money. As a plumber said, the garbage disposal is the plumber's best friend, because it takes all of 20 minutes maybe to do, and they charge you at least $250 to do it. So imagine that. You just made $250 in half an hour. Now if we could all be paid that well, that would be pretty great. So I hope that helped you out. I hope that you saw that that is really not an intimidating task. It really wasn't even messy, and it was easy. It was great. So again, I hope it helped you out. I hope you enjoyed learning about it, and thanks very much for watching today. Thank you very much to everybody who has subscribed. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so right now. You'll find the button up in the top right hand corner, and I hope that you'll join me again next time. So until then, have a great week, and I'll see you soon.